The more you hide me, the more I glow. In every heart I softly grow. No spell can bind me, dark or bright. I'm always shining with pure light. What am I? A long time ago, near a dense forest, there was a small village. In that village lived a woodcutter named Ben. He was very poor, but his heart was rich with kindness. Every morning before sunrise, he would pick up his old axe and head into the forest to cut trees all day. That axe was his only means of livelihood. Some days he had enough to eat. Some days only half a meal. But Ben never took what wasn't his, and he never told a lie. He always shared whatever he had. One day, as usual, Ben went to the forest. He had just started cutting trees when suddenly his axe slipped from his hand and fell into the nearby river. He ran to the edge and looked down, but the water was deep, and the axe was nowhere to be seen. Tears welled up in his eyes. "Oh God, what do I do now? That was all I had," he murmured. He sat down sadly by the riverbank. Just then, a bright light emerged from the river. From within the light appeared a magical fairy, and with golden wings, sparkling eyes, and a voice as sweet as honey. The fairy asked, "Oh human, why are you so sad?" Ben bowed his head and told her everything. The fairy smiled. She thought to herself, "I can help him, but first I must test his honesty." Then the fairy reached into the water and pulled out a shining golden axe. She asked, "Is this your axe?" Without a second thought, Ben replied, "No, fairy, this is not mine." The fairy smiled again and then pulled out a silver axe. She asked, "What about this one?" Again, Ben said, "No, this one is not mine either." For the third time, the fairy reached into the water and pulled out Ben's old iron axe, with a broken handle and rusted blade. Ben's eyes lit up. Yes, that's my axe." The fairy was now very pleased. "You are truthful and honest. Therefore, I make you the owner of all 3 axes. But if you wish, I can grant you one final boon. But for that, you must answer my 3 riddles." Ben smiled and nodded. With the fairy's magic, 3 leaves suddenly appeared, and one by one, a riddle began to shine on each. Each leaf floated toward Ben, showing the riddle written on it. The fairy asked the first riddle. "There are 2 things that love to grow. The more you share, the more they show. One is learning, bright and fun. Can you guess the other one?" Ben immediately answered, "Love." The fairy nodded. "Absolutely right." As soon as Ben gave the correct answer, 1 leaf vanished. Then the fairy asked the second riddle. "I cannot see myself at all, but show the truth to big and small. Whoever looks will clearly see a perfect image, just like me. I speak no words, I make no sound, yet in each home I can be found. So tell me now, both kind and wise, who reflects without disguise? What am I?" Ben said, "A mirror." Correct again. As soon as Ben answered, the second leaf disappeared. Finally, the fairy asked the third and final riddle. "The more you try to hide it away, the louder it speaks, come what may. It shines with truth, so pure and bright, but shakes with fear when lies take flight. It's not a thing, not shadow or flame, yet in every heart it plays a game. When it's clear, your path feels right, but when it's cloudy, you lose your light. It helps you choose what's wrong or true. It quietly lives inside of you. So tell me now, can you explain? What shows the way through joy and pain?" Ben said, "Conscience." With the third correct answer, the last leaf disappeared. As Ben answered each riddle, the glowing leaves vanished one by one. The fairy was now overjoyed. She said to the woodcutter, "You have answered all 3 of my riddles correctly. From this moment on, your life shall change." In the blink of an eye, Ben's tiny hut transformed into a beautiful house, filled with food, warm clothes, and books. The fairy gave him all 3 axes and then vanished. Ben returned home with the axes, and his wife and child were overjoyed. The 3 of them hugged each other tightly. "But Do you think the story ends here? Oh no, the real twist is just beginning. A fourth riddle hides a secret that might just surprise you, so get ready because the story is about to take a dramatic turn. Don't you want to know what happens next? Let's continue this journey together. See if you can solve the riddle. Comment below with your answer. Watch the video to the end. Something unexpected awaits you. In that same forest, there was another man, Max, who was Ben's neighbor. He was very greedy. When he saw Ben receiving the gold and silver axes and a magical blessing, his eyes filled with jealousy. Max thought, I'll fool the fairy easily and become rich too. The very next day, he took his axe to the same river and deliberately dropped it in. Then he sat down and began to fake cry. Once again, the fairy appeared. She asked, What happened, human? Max lied. My axe fell into the river, fairy. The fairy reached into the water and brought out a golden axe. Is this your axe? Max instantly said. Yes, that's my axe. The fairy paused for a moment. Then she said, If you're telling the truth, answer this riddle. Liars never answer correctly. The fairy asked, The more you hide me, the more I glow. In every heart I softly grow. No spell can bind me, dark or bright. I'm always shining with pure light. What am I? Max was silent for a while, then said, Anger? Greed? The fairy replied sternly. Wrong answer. The answer is truth. Her voice grew serious. You lied. Now you must learn your lesson. A flash of light, and Max lost his voice. He couldn't speak at all. Even his real axe disappeared. The fairy said, You will regain your voice only when you help others and speak the truth. Max quietly went back. Slowly, he began helping people, without greed or pride. One day, while helping an old woman carry her bundle of firewood home, something magical happened. A glow surrounded him, and suddenly his voice returned. Back in the village, Ben was happy in his new home. With his wealth, he helped the poor and planted a tree every day. He taught his child the value of truth and kindness, hoping his child would grow up to help others and walk the path of honesty. The more Ben helped people, the richer he became. Not just in wealth, but in respect and love. The village children began calling him the King of Honesty. One day, the fairy returned and said to the woodcutter, You have proven that truth is the greatest blessing. And with that, she vanished again. This story teaches us that honesty is the greatest wealth. Lies never bring real rewards. Only those who are true at heart are the true winners. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And kids, remember, the fairy is always watching.